Ho, ho, ho. Yes, it's that time again. Can you see that thing in the sky?
What time would that be?
Look up. That's called a sleigh. Yep, it's Christmas time. Christmas time. Mistletoe and wine. Everything is just so fine, you know?
You know, I'm not feeling it this year at all. I'm feeling the pinch. I feel that this is the time when everybody in the country, all unions are going on strike. People are struggling financially. The weather has been absolutely horrendous with snow and black ice. I'm just not in the Christmas
You're feeling
mood.
the pinch. You're
I'm
being
feeling
a
the pinch.
Grinch. There's a rhyme there for you.
Yeah.
But did you talk about snow?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's so picture postcardish. I know when it turns to slush, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But right now, it looks so pretty.
I don't think so. I think I've seen...
It looks like a Christmas card.
It does, but I'm just not feeling the Christmas spirit this time. I have absolutely no idea why. We've still gone ahead with all the traditions of having the tree up and putting our advent calendar out and our, mistletoe and wine and prepping for the big day next Sunday. But
I just love Christmas, don't you? With all the trimmings as well. Not just Christmas, but I love carols as well. Hallelujah. I love hymns.
Yeah, it's possibly the only week in the entire year when you listen to Classic FM all day long when you can, because there are beautiful carols playing. I know Christmas is meant to be evocative of a very special time, and because of the weather, because of the fact that, it's dark and miserable outside, and this is a festival that brings people together, brings a lot of family members together who don't get to see each other normally, and it's about food, it's about the presents, but I think it's very commercial now. I don't know. This year, I particularly feel that it should be all about reaching out to those who are finding it hard to make ends meet.
Well, fair enough. But if someone offers you a mince pie,
yeah,
you're not going to say no, are you?
No, I'll say it'll mean an extra 15 minutes on the treadmill. No, thank you. You have it on my behalf.
A Christmas cake, flambéed with some brandy.
Yeah, that sounds more like something I would say yes to. Because it would be food and drink in one go, right? Brandy and cake. But
people take months. Of course, I'm not talking about us.
Yeah.
Because we go downstairs and buy the ready-made one.
Yeah.
But people take months preparing it, getting it ready. I think by September they
when you say we go downstairs, you make it sound as if we live on top of a shop. We don't. We live around the corner. From
like नीचे चाय की दुकान ऊपर मेरा मकान
मुझे ऊपर मेरा मकान वैसा नहीं है, but we live around the corner from a very convenient supermarket. So so I know it's all about the trimmings, and we will go ahead with the trimmings because it's all about tradition. But I just feel that even in COVID, I feel that people went out of their way to connect with the Christmas spirit and spread a bit of Christmas cheer. But this year, so far, I'm just not feeling it. Maybe because, you start your day, you hear about train strikes, then you hear about the NHS going on strike, you hear about nurses striking for the first time, you hear about fire ambulances and God forbid if anyone ever needs any of these services now, how traumatic and difficult it's going to be for them. So it's a difficult time. I think this is our cue to actually introduce the podcast.
चलो फिर दोस्तों शुरू करें.
Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters, and
everything else in between. Now we're feeling very upbeat. At least I'm very upbeat because we've just seen the most amazing football match. We saw the World Cup final just literally half an hour ago.
Yeah.
With penalties.
Yeah.
And the world wakes up to the fact that Lionel Messi has now won just about everything under the sun. But also, let's take a moment to appreciate Mbappe. Yeah? Scores a hat-trick, ends up on the losing team, and he's still only 23. He's going to be around for a long, long time, so hats off to him as well.
Yeah, that's true. Well played, France, absolutely. And I don't know, I was, doing some other stuff and then watching it in the background, and then I had to sit and concentrate. At the start, do you feel that it almost felt as though Argentina peaked too soon? Because when France came back and it became 2-2, it was almost unbelievable. And then when it went to penalties, it just felt that...
In extra time, it went 3-3.
3-3, yeah.
It was a very exciting
It was a paisa vasool match, as they like to say. Although
I saw you were also watching that all these Bollywood celebs were all in the audience.
yeah, Bollywood celebrities, Pakistani celebrities. I think a lot of people from the Asian subcontinent, many people from here. Some of my friends from here were at the Lusail Stadium.
सब लोगों को tickets कहाँ से मिलती हैं?
अरे हैं VVIPs सब अब क्या किया जाए. But it was fun, and let's take a moment to just talk about Bollywood's historic moment. Deepika Padukone unveiling the World Cup, and God alone knows what she was wearing.
She's all over the news for the bikini she's wearing, the saffron-colored bikini she's wearing, I believe.
Yeah.
In
Besharam
Rang.
Yeah. And
when is Pathan coming out? Actually,
it's coming out on the 25th of Jan.
So not long.
Not long at all. And I am not impressed at all. The song has done absolutely nothing for me.
Well, you'll probably be in a minority because I'm just reading of people saying, wow.
Oh, that's
amazing.
That's because people are very happy to see Shah Rukh back on screen, which even I am. And I find it very silly when they say, oh, Deepika looks so hot. Deepika is a model. Deepika is drop dead gorgeous. Bikini or no bikini. Of course she looks hot. She's been airbrushed within an inch of her life in that poster, as anybody can tell, where she's wearing that golden monokini. And the song is just such a thaka hua dinchak, something that you would not listen to if you didn't know it was associated with Pathan. It is such a losing track.
जो भी listeners हैं वो भी चले जाएंगे.
हाँ जाए. मैं उनकी डर से ये तो नहीं बोलूँगी ना कि मुझे बहुत पसंद है, जब मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है. I'm hoping the film will redeem their reputation for still having the ability. By there I mean Shah Rukh and Yash Raj and Deepika and all, for still having.
This is one of the 50th anniversary movies.
One of the 50th anniversary films. They pumped a lot of money into it. They've got the same action stunt director who does Tom Cruise's films. He's come on board, so it looks very slick. So I'm hoping that, I'm not expecting a game changer, but I'm hoping
excuse me if I'm wrong, but Tom Cruise does his own stunts.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe even Shah Rukh and John have done some of their own stunts. But, I'm hoping that it'll still be one of those movies that are great fun to watch. It's like a Bond film. You don't go in there for a life-changing experience or to, witness something.
It's basically a spy movie, isn't it?
It's a spy movie, and it's meant to be a lot of fun as long as it's done well and it doesn't completely insult your intelligence, which Bollywood is very good for.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I.
So basically you just didn't like the song.
I hated the song. This didn't like is a mild word. I just think it was, forget about controversies, it doesn't warrant any attention.
You're not sitting on the fence today, I see.
I'm not at all sitting on the fence. I'll tell you what, there's one film that I found very interesting. I would love to say I loved it, but that would be untrue. I found it very interesting, was Rishabh Shetty's Kantara.
Kantara, I have a gist of what the story is about. It's a bit supernatural kind of.
It is about superstition. It is about deep-held customs and traditions in the
South India, it's Kerala or something?
In Karnataka, in coastal Karnataka. And since it came out in October, it has diligently been setting records and breaking records. And
what, even beating RRR?
Not RRR, but definitely beating Pushpa.
That might get an Oscar nod.
Pushpa, they're definitely hoping for it. They've got 2 nominations already, right? So coming back to Kantara and Rishabh Shetty, he is one of the biggest names in the Kannada film industry. And he wanted to tell this story so desperately that he actually wrote the screenplay to be able to cast himself as the lead. And I have to say, I found it a very slow start. Visually, it is absolutely stunning to see that Karnataka, in fact, India, what a beautiful country it is, Whether it is the mountains, whether it is snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas or the beautiful forest reserves and the beaches, and there is no dearth of natural beauty in India.
Or riding 2 buffaloes at once across the lake.
So Kantara is, set in coastal Karnataka, and it has been filmed, I believe, in Karnataka as well. Absolutely stunning. So visually it is stunning. They've shot it very, very stylishly. But the movie, the story picks up. It's a bit slow for my liking. And because of the language barrier, because you're constantly having to read subtitles to know what's going on. The first half an hour...
It's not in Hindi?
It's in Kannada.
No, I mean, they haven't dubbed it.
We were watching the English subtitle version. So they have dubbed it in various languages. But we were watching the subtitle version. So it is slightly hard to get into. But once you're in, and because 2 months have passed since the film came out, I've also heard the other view, where people are opposing the film on the grounds that, this actually reinforces people's belief in superstition, and it's almost like putting fact and fiction, science and superstition face to face, and then allowing superstition to win. But then it is people's faith. Rishabh Shetty has defended it by saying that, I come from coastal Karnataka where we believe in this, where we actually, it is a part of our religious and cultural fabric. So you can't knock it by saying that it doesn't sit right with my belief system, so it's not right. So I feel that, to start a conversation, to introduce you to a world that is completely alien to you, to show you a film that has been intelligently and beautifully put together, it is quite an experience. It's not a mass entertaining film, although I believe it has broken all records in Karnataka, in the Kannada film industry.
Well, you've been watching quite a lot of OTT, as I say.
I have been.
You watched Harry and Meghan, but
Yes.
we won't talk about this episode. We'll talk about it some other episode.
Yeah.
But yesterday and today I've been reading some, Jeremy Clarkson all have made some really vile statements about her, which is not good in the Sun. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, that's exactly what the documentary is about. It's her side of the story more than his. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so we started watching Kala as well. I haven't finished that, but I do want to finish that as well because that's a psychological thriller. And I'm just so fortunate, I feel, to be in a business where we talk about this at a time when entertainment in India is really taking it to the next level. It's not so much about, I think even that Bollywood versus South India debate is very thaka hua now. It's no longer about Bollywood versus South India.
I'm confused. What's it about then?
It is about finding the gems, and very often these gems are actually on OTT. Films that are, to use a very hep word, disruptive, that are changing the narrative. Films that are talking about things that one, in India at least, you would never have imagined main stars talking about. And doing it, bringing it to the mainstream, opening up conversations, expanding our mindset, taking us to places and to people who we knew very little about. What a wonderful world to be a part of. I'll tell you another film that I'm very excited about. It's not out yet. It's out on the 30th of December. Ritesh and Genelia Deshmukh's film Ved. It's a Marathi film. It's the remake of a Tamil film.
They have time to make films. I thought all they do is Instagram.
They're so good at their Instagram
videos.
Reels. But husband and wife, they've remade a Tamil hit from 4 or 5 years ago, Ved. And I love this story. It is one of those things where it is about a relationship. It is about a man completely breaking down, having a nervous breakdown, but then finding redemption in actually connecting to his past and going back down the road, which had led to his heartbreak and his breakdown in the first place. So it is extremely beautifully fine-tuned to a particular mindset. But anyone who likes these kind of human interest stories is going to be immediately drawn to it. So we'll talk about Ved after I've seen it, after it's come out. But
that comes out next year, isn't it?
That comes out, on the 30th of December.
Oh, you said.
So, in about just over a week's time. So it's
hopefully we'll have another podcast by then.
Yeah. And the fun fact...
Because this one is coming out today. It will be just a week before Christmas. And then the next one will be in that, that Twixmas time.
Yeah, that boring period.
That twilight zone between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. So we have to have something to talk about then as well. But fantastic. A fun fact about Ved. So the original Tamil film was made by another husband and wife couple, Samantha Ruth Prabhu, who's become very big in Bollywood since her Ooh Antava song in Pushpa.
I've heard her name.
And her husband, Naga Chaitanya, who we saw in Lal Singh Chadda. He was Lal Singh's, that friend, Chaddi Banyan friend, Nag Chaitanya. So Samantha Ruth Prabhu was married to Nag Chaitanya when he made that film. It's called Milni or something, I think, or Milti or Milni or something. It's a Tamil film. And then, since then, they've divorced. So I just hope all stays well between Ritesh and Genelia Deshmukh, because they're another husband-wife couple making it, attempting it. But I've seen the trailer, it looks beautiful. Anyway, completely digressing from Kantara.
I thought you had made the connection and say something about this podcast because it's also
a husband and wife team. Oh, please, I think we are well past that stage to even bother with divorce. We'll just have to kind of play along.
Well, I thought you were going to say that we'll just have to live with each other forever.
Yeah, we just have to live with each other forever. At least till the end of this year. Agle saal ka agle saal dekhenge. What else did we want to talk about? Besharam Rang we've spoken about already. Bryan Adams.
Apne haath mein nahi likha?
Nahi likha nahi maine. Bryan Adams. In the last podcast I mentioned Bryan Adams. And I actually went...
If anyone's seen your Instagram...
would know.
They'll think that this is the first concert and the only concert you've been to in your life.
It's not the first and the only. Oh, are you the one who needs to cough now after telling me? Oh, make sure you drink enough water. You coughed in that last podcast, which I didn't, by the way. It was 2 podcasts ago. But yeah, it's not that it's the first concert I've been to, but it's the first concert that I've been to.
Can I just interrupt? Sorry.
Where the main act was the love of my life in my adolescence.
Before I forget, I just want to
Yes.
say that it's not a cough. Mera gala thoda sa baitha hua hai because I've been screaming. We've just seen penalties.
Oh, you mean screaming in favor of or against?
That I won't tell you.
Yeah.
But so Bryan Adams was the love of your life.
Yes. And
When you were 10?
no, when I was older than that, when I knew what love meant. And please forgive me if I didn't know you back then. But it
very
was
clever.
fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic to see him live in concert. What an amazing set. Absolutely brilliant. And to be amongst super fans who know every word to every song.
I just hope you didn't think that I ran to you.
Oh, please. Do I have to say the words? I'm sure you can tell.
Sorry, have I thrown you off your...
Yeah, I was just going to say something about the summer of 69, but then you may not like it. You might say, I wasn't born then. Neither was I. Okay, so that's that. What a brilliant, brilliant concert. What is it that you're looking forward to with Christmas coming up? You have a list, I have a list of things that we do in terms of shopping and prepping, and you're the main man in charge of the kitchen on Christmas Day. You need to have all your accoutrements, as they say, your knives and forks and chopping board and slicing this and dicing that. You have to have your mulled wine and bubbling away on the hob and all your other accompaniments.
Listening to Christmas carols and hymns.
Christmas carols and hymns. So are you up to speed? Have you all done? Because, we're just about a week away from...
This year I'm thinking of going into Georgian chants.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's very relaxing. It's very meditative.
Yeah, I think you are that age. I think it's called middle age, where you find comfort and solace in these things.
Everything in life doesn't have to be a dig-chick,
No, it doesn't. Of course not. That's exactly what I said about Besharam Rang. That dig-chick doesn't cut it anymore. There has to be something else other than just that. Ask me how I celebrated Argentina's win today by hitting the gym and having a fantastic workout amongst people who are clearly all Argentina fans, because everybody in the gym today was wearing a Messi number 10 t-shirt.
If you gave me a chance, if you paused, I might have been able to ask you.
What?
How you celebrated.
So what else do you have to say? Tell us then something about...
What? Isn't it like 250 years of, or 225 years of Mirza Galib?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm out, you know what?
I thought I left that for the Xmas episode.
No, because I have to admit, I heard you mention it on your show.
Yes.
And I remembered that, you talked basically about Nasruddin Shah, the story about Nasruddin Shah. And I remember watching that. Or maybe I had a cassette of...
they released a double cassette as well.
I had a double cassette of it.
Yeah, Jagjit Singh and Chitra Singh did most of the ghazals on that.
So that's why in the back of my head it kind of rang a bell.
Gulzar Sahab made it. And are we talking about it this episode?
Yeah, why don't you talk about it?
So Mirza Galib's 225th birth anniversary. And, they always have this wonderful Urdu literary festival in Delhi called Jashn-e-Rekhta. And this year they decided to have, because it coincided with Mirza Galib's 225th birth anniversary, they decided to have Nasiruddin Shah as their main speaker at one of the events.
And he's the guy who played the role on TV.
He's the guy who played the role on TV. And, he spoke about how when he was a student at the National School of Drama, he had always wanted to play the role of Ghalib. And one of his friends then told him that, I've heard that Gulzar Sahab is making this TV series and he's casting... He wants to cast Sanjeev Kumar as Ghalib. And he said that even as a student, I was outraged, because I felt that I was born to play Mirza Galib. So I wrote him a letter. I wrote Gulzar Sahab a letter as a student.
For anyone who doesn't know Sanjeev Kumar, he's the one that Gabbar Singh says, Thakur, ye haath hame de do.
So, please, as if there is anyone who doesn't know Sanjeev Kumar. So he said that, I wrote him that letter as a student, and as it happened, that letter never got to him. 15 years later, was that project got shelved. Sanjeev Kumar never got to play Ghalib. But 15 years later, when they decided to make this TV series, Gulzar Sahab came to me. And he said, I was absolutely chuffed and gobsmacked. And I thought, oh my God, how is it that my dream has actually come true? And halfway through the shoot, one day when we were sitting down, when I asked him about the letter, he said, what are you talking about? I never got any letter. So clearly he was destined to play this role. And then he also says that, wahan se mera Urdu literature और Urdu से जो इश्क है वो वहाँ से शुरू हुआ. He said up until that, I know he's from your school, right?
Yeah, and he speaks Urdu, Hindi and English all impeccably.
Yeah. So he says that up until then I used to think that, only Wordsworth and Keats and Shelley are poets and only Shakespeare is a dramatist worth talking about. It was only after I discovered the works of Mirza Galib, after playing Mirza Galib in that TV series, that I really understood the depth of his poetry and, his talent and just how timeless it is. Like for instance, he writes, मोहब्बत में नहीं है फर्क जीने और मरने का, मोहब्बत में नहीं है फर्क जीने और मरने का, उसी को देख कर जीते हैं जिस काफिर पर दम निकली. ओ ही सेज, हम तो फना हो गए उनकी आंखें देख कर गालिब, न जाने वो आईना कैसे देखते होंगे.
वाह वाह, अदाब, सुभान अल्लाह, कमाल, मजा आ गया, गजब. एक और अर्ज कीजिए प्लीज.
I think ये इश्क नहीं आसान is also गालिब. ये इश्क नहीं आसान, बस इतना समझ लीजिए, एक आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है. और ये इश्क वो आतिश है गालिब जो लगाए न लगे बुझाए न बने. Absolutely phenomenal. He is a man who, talks about romance, about life, about heartbreak, about deeper things as well, but in such simple words. And this reminded me of Javed Akhtar, because that's something Shabana Azmi says about Javed Akhtar all the time. She says that, anyone who knows Javed Akhtar personally knows just how accomplished he is as an Urdu shair, just how academic and fantastically impressive his knowledge of Urdu is. He knows all those deep, complex, ancient Urdu words which people don't even know the meaning to. And yet when Javed Sahab writes for Bollywood, he always believes that the simpler the better. एक गहरी से गहरी बात अगर आप आसान अल्फाजों में बयान करें, that takes a special kind of expertise, to be able to reach people and move them or get them to think about things by using the simplest of words, yet infusing those words with the essence of whatever you're trying to say. That is a special gift which Javed Akhtar has.
And sometimes, even though it's simple, it has another layer,
yeah,
deeper
absolutely.
meaning.
It is about the layer. For instance, it's कल हो ना हो वाला गाना, हर घड़ी बदल रही है रूप जिंदगी, छाँव है कभी कभी है धूप जिंदगी, हर पल यहाँ जी भर जियो.
I've heard Shankar San Loy tell this story quite a few times. That he made it as simple as possible.
They say that we took barely moments to compose the tune. It was the first time that Javed Sahab took far longer to write, because every time he'd write something, he would cross it out and say, no, I want to make it even simpler. No, I want it to be even simpler. I want it to do something that touches everyone. Break it down to the very basics, which is that, live every moment, because nobody has seen tomorrow. That's the essence of that song, and that's why it's so beautiful. Of course, poetry or gaane mein ek farak ye hai ki for a song to work, it has to be a combination of good lyrics and a beautiful melody and a great voice. Whereas in shairi and poetry, it's just, on its own. But I sometimes feel envious of the people who lived in the time of Mirza Galib. Again, he was a man who was very poor. He wasn't really appreciated in his lifetime. A bit like Shakespeare, right?
No, Van Gogh.
Van Gogh and even Shakespeare, they say that Shakespeare got his actual glory and became the man that he is now in that figure in history, that literary figure who, I don't think in his time he was okay.
I don't know about that. I think he was quite...
no, he was popular.
I think him and Charles Dickens were appreciated.
He was writing plays and this and that for the kings and queens and all of that. But I don't think anybody saw them as this definitive figure in history who generations would fall in love with and aspire to become, or learn from, be inspired by.
Kal ho na ho. That sounds like Ronan Keating, If Tomorrow Never Comes.
Oh, the only Ronan Keating song I know is Life is a Roller Coaster.
And I don't think it's his song. I think it's a Garth Brooks country song, actually.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, is it time to say bye?
I think it's time to say bye. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Because the next time we speak to you, Christmas would have
we're not saying Happy New Year
passed.
Because we will be back before Happy New Year.
We hope that you have, wherever you are, with your friends, with your families, we hope you have a beautiful Christmas and celebrate it the way you want to celebrate it. For some, it's rituals and gifts and presents and food and a lot of shopping and, a lot of bright lights and razzmatazz. For some, it is very simple.
And because this podcast really does go around the world.
Yeah.
You know, I saw on that Spotify thing, it's like 35 countries or something.
Yeah.
So if you're not celebrating Christmas,
Yeah.
that's fine as well. Happy holidays, because right now it's a holiday period, I think, wherever you are.
Absolutely. And we hope to see you before 2023 arrives. And stay well. If you're in a cold country like we are in, stay warm and have a great Christmas.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.